streaming.
TV.
Tell me when you're ready.
Whenever you are, I'm ready.
Good evening, Washington Courthouse. It is 7:30 p.m. on September 14th, 2022. Time for our first meeting of this month, the first regular meeting. At this time, Mr. Hawk will do our invocation, and Ms. Hernandez will lead us in the pledge, if you would stand.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for the opportunity to live in this town. I thank you for our country and our state and all the many blessings that you've given to us. I pray that this evening as we deliberate over issues and ordinances and resolutions and so on, that we would make the right decisions and that we would do things according to your best plan. And I ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Kelly.
Johnson, Schultz,
Here.
Blair,
Here.
Chrisman,
Here.
Hawk,
Here.
Hernandez.
Here.
Lynch.
Here. Okay, we have the minutes from.
I'll make a
sorry.
motion to excuse Caleb.
Oh, thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Chrisman,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir.
Now we have approval of minutes from our regular meeting, August 24th, 2022. Anything you see that's not correct?
The only thing I noticed was in the back under miscellaneous. I think I had something to say that night, but it wasn't in there, but that's okay.
It probably wasn't worth
It probably wasn't worth the print
I didn't
anyway.
say it.
I know you guys were thinking
I
that.
apologize, brother.
No, you don't.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay,
Probably
we
the
have,
third time I heard it anyway.
I'll second that.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Chrisman,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes. Any communication, Mr. Dennis?
None.
Okay, instead of communication, we're going to do some introductions here this evening. But first, before I get to that group in the back, I would like our new Record Herald person to introduce herself. I haven't had a chance to meet you.
Yes, my name's Abby Shrout, and I just joined the Record Herald about a month and a half ago. This is my first council meeting that I've been to, so I was excited for it.
Well, welcome. Where do you come from, Abby?
I grew up in Greenfield, but I live in Washington Courthouse now.
Okay.
And I graduated from McLean in 2017. So.
We won't hold that against you.
Hope not.
Anyway.
Well, welcome.
Thank
Yes,
you.
welcome to Washington Courthouse.
Thank you.
All right, we have several people back there who had a test that they got back today. And so they needed 25 extra points to make up for some of them they didn't get on the test. So they're here tonight. And we're going to start over in that corner.
Oh, goodness.
Would you please stand up and tell everybody your name?
Callie,
What, Kelly?
Wade, Simon.
Okay, thank you, Callie. Well, wait,
Oh.
we'll skip that one. Skip the second one. Addie?
I'm Adam Moxley.
Okay, skip the next one. Ian?
Ian Rogers, right?
Isaiah Hickok. John Wall. Nathan Upgrove.
Okay, I skipped two because the second young lady there, you want to introduce her?
Yes, I can do that.
Stand up.
Addison, would you please, her official name is Addison. Addison Schultz. This is my granddaughter. This is our son Stephen, and her dad's name Stephen, his mother's name Amy, and it's their daughter. Middle daughter, which she reminds us of all the time.
Thank you, Addie. And this is my grandson.
There you go.
This is grandson Evan Lynch, son of my oldest son. And Evan is here this evening with the rest of the gang. Now, Steve and I aren't claiming to be parents or grandparents of any of the rest, but they're all great kids.
Yes.
All great kids. And they are very much fun to have in class. And I'm glad they're here tonight. We've got, I think, yeah, I'm right. Every one of them is an athlete
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some sport. And some are other things in the band and so on. So they're very
Cheerleader.
active cheerleaders. They're
We got
very
a cheerleader
active students and excellent students. So it's good to have them. Gang, this is a government lesson. We are the legislative branch for the city. We talked about legislative branches. We don't have a president, we have a city manager who's the executive. We don't have a Supreme Court, but we have a law director who's sitting over there. And so we are, we have certain things very similar to the United States government, just on a much smaller scale. So I wanted you to have an idea about how local government works too, not just national government. Callie, I would call on you, but I'm really afraid to. Did you want to say something? I thought you were going to have a complaint.
The construction.
The construction on Columbus Avenue there, over by the high school, they're not happy about that, so.
We apologize for trying to give you a nice new road to drive on.
Addison, you want to tell them your
But that ought to
complaint?
be done towards the end of the week, and we really appreciate people's patience with it.
You don't want to tell about your complaint?
No,
Okay.
she doesn't plan.
Okay, well, welcome to the, and welcome to our Record Herald. We seriously enjoy having you here. And anyway, we have report of council committees. The first is economic development. And I think Kendra wasn't
No,
here,
I wasn't
so
here.
Steve
Steve
is
gets to do
doing
it.
it.
Oh, I have to do it. Yes, that's right.
Soccer.
No, you
That's
weren't. You
soccer.
were with
Your son's
You
playing
were with
soccer?
your son, yeah.
Okay, so Economic Strategies Incorporation meeting was August the 24th, 2022. The Economic Strategies Incorporation Committee met in the City Council chambers at 105 North Main Street on Wednesday, August the 24th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Mr. Steve Schultz presided, and those in attendance were Mr. Ted Hawk, council member, Mr. Jim Blair, council member, Mr. Jim Chrisman, council member, Mr. Dale, council chairperson, Mrs. Christina Collins, finance director, Mrs. Chelsea Baker, economic development director, and Mr. Joseph Denon, city manager. Number one, the committee reviewed progress with industrial development. Number two, the committee noted the status of various development projects within the community and downtown area. The committee noted that there were currently 31 open projects. Number three, the administration advised the committee that several new business plaques have been awarded. Number four, the administration advised the committee that October was local manufacturing month. Mrs. Baker advised Manufacturing Day would be held on October the 17th. Mrs. Baker noted that local sophomore students would be given tours of the manufacturing facility. Interesting. Number five, the committee benefited from a review regarding downtown events. The administration noted the support of recent Art on the Square event. Number six, the administration encouraged citizens to attend the upcoming Scarecrow Shop Hop to be held September the 9th, 2022. Number seven, the committee reviewed progress with commercial development, and the committee noted interest from the community. Number eight, the committee benefited from a review of business development within the downtown area. Number nine, the administration advised committee that applications were completed for the facade improvement grant. The committee noted that 40 applications were approved and that a total combined cost, or at a total combined cost of $170,000 would be distributed to those awarded the grant. Number 10, The committee was advised that the administration had been contacted regarding the concept of Toast of Summer being held in the downtown area. The committee expressed full support for the event. Respectfully submitted, Mr. Steve Schultz, member, Economic Strategy and Corporation Committee, Mrs. Kelly Ford, recording secretary.
Thank you, Steve. Does anybody have any questions or comments about that?
Number 9. I believe that number could be wrong. I don't think we approved 40 applications. Is Chelsea here? She's not here. I don't know
She
the
was
exact
here.
number, but I don't believe it was 40, because 40 would have taken us way over.
Well, I think we approved them, but we only had money for 20, wasn't it?
They're okay, let's
You
go back. You were in that
approved-
committee.
yeah,
You-
you went
maybe
through
that's what it
40,
was. Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
40, we didn't sort of approve, but we only had money
Yes.
for it. It should have been in there,
Yes.
so it was.
Yes.
So, God, when did you show up? I just looked over there, you are. How you doing?
Okay, sorry I didn't inform you I was coming.
That's-
Any
Okay, That was
other,
the only question I had.
any other comments about that? Do we have a motion to accept that report?
I make a motion, we accept the Economic Strategies and Cooperation Meeting Report.
Second?
Okay, roll call.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes. Next, we have finance and personnel. Mr. Blair, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Personnel Committee met in the City Council chambers at 105 North Main Street on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Mr. Jim Blair presided, and those in attendance were Mr. Jim Chrisman, council member, Mr. Steve Schultz, council member, Mr. Ted Hawk, council member, Mr. Dale Lynch, council chairperson, Mr. Joseph Denon, city manager, Mrs. Christine Collins, finance director, and Mr. Mark Pitstick, city attorney. The committee benefited from a review of the statement of cash for the month ending in July. The committee benefited from a review of the investments of the City of Washington Courthouse. Mrs. Collins stated that all GAAP conversions have been filed through December 31st. The committee noted that the city received first payment of a new opioid drug fund settlement from the state of Ohio. Mr. Denon advised that Mrs. Collins would be creating a budget line item for the opioid drug fund settlement money. The committee recommended that legislation be brought to council for the creation of a fund. The committee recommended that legislation be brought to council authorizing the necessary tax levies for the tax year 2022. The committee benefited from a report of personnel matters given by Mr. Denon. Mr. Denon noted the hiring of 2 police patrol officers. The committee noted that the AFSCME union continued negotiations. The administration advised the committee that a retest would be completed for the fire captain promotional exam at the fire department. Mr. Denon continued and noted that an entry-level exam was completed. Mr. Denon noted an open position for an administrative assistant at the fire department. The administration advised the committee that the Humane Society had advised of another potential location for their facility. The committee recommended that the land be used by the Humane Society, was supposed to be used, be deeded back to the city. The administration advised the committee of the hiring of Trenton Moore and Kyler Euler at the service department. And finally, the administration advised the committee of the loss ratio, enrollment, and rate projection for the City of Washington Courthouse. Respectfully submitted, Mr. Jim Blair, Chairperson, Finance and Personnel, Mrs. Kelly Ford, Recording Secretary.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions or comments about that? Do we have a motion to accept that report?
I make a motion that we accept the finance and personnel meeting as read.
Do we have a second?
Can you second your own?
I don't think so. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Chrisman,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes. Okay, moving along, the city manager's report, Mr. Denon.
Thank you, folks. This is an incredibly busy week for us and a lot of citizens in the community as we get ready for the Scarecrow Festival, and I would like to sincerely thank the members of the Scarecrow Committee, and in particular Kelly Ford and Mika Rhodes for the effort that they put into it. And a lot of folks, special folks, help us out with the festival, and it's a nice time for the community, and we are very happy to be able to put that together. And also tonight, I would like to thank Debbie Bryant of United Way, that 5K, 10K walk run that she puts together. There's a lot of work in that, and she does a tremendously wonderful job with that, and it's always a great time to work with Debbie. I distributed the events for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for you. We think that with cooperative weather, that the two band options in the evening are likely to bring in a pretty decent sized crowd. The police department has made every preparation that they can in order to ensure that it is a safe, fun event for all. But we expect a decent sized crowd. Of course, there's always a few last minute surprises that people send our way, and we were rather excited by one late this afternoon. But we get all those worked out, and we continue to march along. And again, it's something that we're incredibly proud to be able to do with the community and for the community. Would like to, and streets will close midnight tonight. Okay, which is a little bit earlier than in the past. The new ride company goes through a much more rigorous testing process with the rides before they let the public on them, so they need a little bit more time. We're very pleased about that. But the street closures will be as they normally are. It's a tremendous amount of work for the street department. They do a wonderful job. Some people will suggest that we adjust some timing to some lights. Street has worked very diligently with that. They have run into some problems with that, so we might have some glitches, slowdowns there where that doesn't change a whole lot from their normal operation. But other than that, we're marching along exceptionally well, really. Columbus Avenue paving, we apologize for the inconvenience. But what we're doing there, we've done a lot of full depth repair on areas where we had issues. So you should have a lovely smooth surface for several years to come, and we'll be doing those plastic paving markings like we did on Elm Street. Folks really need to cooperate with the traffic control directions that they're given. This time around, we've had a few people maybe get a little bit confused. But you need to pay attention for the safety of the construction workers and to allow the project to move along as smoothly as we can. It also helps with the quality of the overall product at the end. And also, it can cause some issues with your vehicle. If that tack coat, that tarry stuff that they put down before you put down the asphalt, you really don't want to drive through that. You will find that will be incredibly difficult to ever get off your vehicle. A little bit of a reminder from last meeting. The City of Washington Courthouse offers electric aggregation. Energy Harbor is wholly owned by First Energy, so when First Energy got involved in that scandal in Columbus, that caused a lot of confusion. Also, we've encountered some situations where some people have been moved without their knowledge, or in some cases, one member of the family might have thought a deal from a telemarketer was a good idea, so they said sure and didn't tell anybody else. And they've experienced a considerable increase in their electric bills, like a couple $100 a month. The city rate is good through March of 24, and that is 0.04579. You can always talk to me about it. or you can call Energy Harbor directly at 888-254-6359. Residents would have also gotten a recent letter that, quite honestly, is a bit confusing about the natural gas aggregation. Okay? In the past, we had always fixed the rate for the heating season so that people had an easy number that they could identify with and understand. With speculation in the energy market, fixing the rate for the winter this year was incredibly expensive. So it'll be a variable rate for this winter. The letter explains how that is calculated, which quite honestly is a bit complex because you got to look at where gas is trading at on the NYMEX exchange, and then you got to remember that that's expressed in a different unit of measure than what you're billed with at your house. And if you remember calculus from high school, you can figure it out. But all that means is that the rate will fluctuate with the market price of gas through the winter. That is the best option from a series of not great options. If residents have a fixed rate option that they want to take from another supplier that they are comfortable with, they are more than welcome to do that. If they want to come back to the city program later on, they can do that. If they take a private offer, they need to pay attention and make sure that there is no early termination fee, or understand what that early termination fee is. They also need to actually read the fine print of the thing about how long the attractive rate is. Because sometimes that's only for a fixed number of billing cycles, and then it can switch around. But they need to pay attention to and understand what they're agreeing to. But they are more than welcome to remain with us or join the natural gas aggregation. And we do that just to make that easier for people, and hopefully they save a little bit of money. It's an abbreviated report for tonight because for the next couple days, folks like myself and Kelly get to spend a great deal of time downtown. We're happy to do that. It's a fun time for us. But we wish you well, and we hope to see you out at the festival.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. Denon, when is the last date that people can switch over to Energy Harbor?
Our deal is through the 24th, so there's not particularly an end date.
So they can switch anytime
Yeah,
within that
yeah.
period
And you
of time.
can leave our program at any time, too. The only hitch is if you join, you have to be in for a full billing cycle before you can leave. And when we move somebody over, a lot of times that actual change doesn't occur to the next full billing cycle. Some people think that magically that occurs that day, and you got to do it when you come to the next full billing cycle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Denon?
I'm sure Mr. Denon will see to it that the Record Herald puts that information out, those letters and all that stuff in.
Yeah, the gas letter is confusing, but it honestly explains to you how it works. And there isn't an easier way to do that, but all that means is that the rate will fluctuate with the market for natural gas. And hopefully, you know, next winter when the energy market by then hopefully works more normally, you'll be able to return to the model where we fix the rate for the winter. Now, whenever we fix the rate for the winter, you do always pay a little bit of a premium for that. There are some winters where you could have concluded that you would have done better if we let the rate fluctuate, in some years where we beat the market. But it's always a competitive fixed rate for the winter. But you can always play the game of, Joe Denon, if the rate would have fluctuated, you know, I would have been $25 better off during the winter than I would. And that can occur.
Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Denon.
You're welcome.
Our Director of Finance is not here this evening, but the city attorney is.
Yes, only thing I have is we continue to mow. We're doing about 60 yards a week. Also, we're picking up trash and towing vehicles, quite a few vehicles so far.
I noticed the other day, there were some folks out there going and cleaning the curbs of the streets. I think Mr., who was doing that, Sean, or not, Josh?
Josh?
Yeah, Joshua Krieger
Yes.
was doing that. And I stopped and I saw them going all the way down the street on Yeoman Street. So I stopped and said, what's going on here? You know, where do you guys, who you work for? We work for Josh Krieger. I said, oh, well, now that explains it. I said, thank you. You know, they were cleaning the whole street. I thought that was, then I ran into Josh and I asked him about it. He said, yeah, he's contracted through the city, or the city could contract him to clean the curbs, all the grass growing along the curbs along the, I thought that's a great idea.
Wanted to
That's a
make it look nice.
fantastic idea.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not further.
Okay. I have no local residents or taxpayers signed up to speak, but Godwin, would you like to say something this evening? Go right ahead, sir.
All right. Well, thank you, City Council. Thank you, Joe Denon and Mark and Kelly. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I know I contacted you within a week if I were permitted to be here, too, so thank you. Well, I'm here to just inform you about two projects that I'm working on, and then I seek your support for that. One is that we are doing a broadband connectivity project, strategic plan for the county. This is done by some folks in Columbus and Illinois. The project was first implemented, designed and implemented in Minnesota and Illinois states. Now they are in Ohio. They want to pilot study the project in 6 counties, and Fayette County was one of them. And then we fall within the OVRDC region. So we have one regional organization and 6 counties that are participating in the survey. It was a 15 weeks workshop that we did, just talking about the goals of it. Successful communities that have adopted it gave their story about the challenges, the prospects, and funding sources to help implement the project. We had talks from the federal level about what they are doing to support rural communities. And we completed the workshop today. And because we are with OVRDC, and for the students, OVRDC is with Ohio Valley Regional Development Council. So they are based in Piketon, Piketon area. So we are part of them. There are 16 counties, and Fayette County is part of it at some point. So because we worked with the region, we have a regional report. Now we are waiting for them to extract that report for the counties that are participating. There were 12 counties that participated over the 14 counties. So I couldn't come here earlier to tell you about it because I also have some health challenges and all that. I think I'm improving now. And I thought that today would still be a good time to inform you about that. And if I get the report, I'll still come back and let you know that I have it. And then the second project I'm going to talk about is I'm working on the Ohio State University Extension and Economic Development is working on a business appreciation line for local businesses in our community. We are selecting about 40 major businesses in our community to come to the Mayhem building on the 20th of October for 1.5 hours interaction and a lunch. So I'm here to inform you about the project and then to invite you to it. And I have not sent emails to anyone inviting them to come yet. I wanted to inform you first before tomorrow I can start sending emails out and inviting people to attend. So like I said, there are going to be 40 businesses that are going to attend. We are looking at a maximum of 3, and that 3 must include a human resource person in the business. We are looking at also some department heads in the city to invite them, including the city council, as well as department heads for the county. We're also looking at our economic development partners that we work with for the county, from the city and all that. So, this is why I came here this evening, and then thank you for the chance to speak to you today. If you have any questions for me, then I would appreciate it.
Is there any This broadband,
Mhm.
there's no charge for that. Is there any charge for that?
And those are some of the things we're collecting surveys for to look at whether you are able to access it wherever you live, and how much does it cost you to access the broadband. So that will help advise the county, will help advise the region, and to send some of those challenges back to the federal level that is we don't have access to it, and the few that have access to it is very expensive. So we want to be able to find funding to implement it. The 15-week workshops that we did, that's phase 1.
Okay.
Phase 2 would be looking for grant money to buy the equipment, to install them at vintage places so that people can access them. And you know that we are part of the OVRDC region, but we do not have access to the grant funding that they get because Fayette County is there's a technical issue there. So our challenge is for the county to develop a structure, and that structure should form a group of people, maybe 10, 11, and to understudy the broadband connectivity issue, and then advise people like you, people like the county, about where we can go to get funding that we can buy equipment to support our areas that do not have access to the broadband connectivity. Thank you for your question.
Any others?
Is there any connection between that broadband and Horizon that's working here in the area?
I don't have that information, but during the workshop, we did have broadband providers who presented, and that they are going to make efforts to reach more to the rural counties to see how far they can help to provide broadband connectivity access, and to lead us also to some funding sources that we do not know.
Okay.
The Horizon is installing a fiber network that would give folks the option, if they wanted to have a fiber optic connection to each small business or each home, which hopefully provides a fiber connection. There's no better way to do that in terms of data in the internet. And their goal is to build out that network through the entire community. Now, some
Is it
of
countywide?
I know that they're doing that in several area communities, but I don't know how far out into the county that they will do. We only talked to them about in town.
Okay.
Now, they have encountered some challenges with the physical build out of that. They had a very ambitious schedule, and they have caused some residents some inconvenience. But we are working to alleviate those, but that would give people an incredibly fast and incredibly reliable internet connection. And also, it would be another competitor in that market. So that will tend to drive down price, but that will give them another very high quality option.
So it sounds like city and county-wide, we're
Yeah.
going to be able to get on the internet.
And that is why our intention is that after this week, following weeks to come, we're going to form a structure where we have people to lead the broadband connectivity issue in our county, and we want to form a partnership with the city to do that. And the commissioners have asked me to bring up a list of particular people, institutions, organizations, both in the private and public sector, to see whether we could do that, to reach out to them, whether they are willing to be part of it. So I'm still working on that structure, members to come up.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So Joe, the orange tubes that are sticking up out of the ground around town, is the Horizon work?
Most of them, yeah. And now when they are done, all of their infrastructure is underground. We have responded to a number of complaints. Everywhere that they put that is within the right of way of the street or within a utility easement. There has been some that we have encountered where we've made sure, and there's been one or two occasions where they technically are within the bounds of the laws where they placed it. But we've pointed out to them that they have other options and plenty of space. and please don't do it that way. But they have encountered the contractor, they have some problems beyond necessarily their control. In particular, a lot of what I call utility locates that you do before you go dig in the ground have been noticeably bad. That is how they struck some electric and put some people out of electric, which, being the utility marking for the electric being about 5 feet off where it is quite honestly a good way to kill somebody. But we will continue to work with them to try to get their build out done in a way that minimizes inconvenience to people and ensures that folks have that fiber to their home option. In the long run, that's a very positive thing for the community. And the way that fiber network is designed, it's enormously redundant. It will be incredibly reliable.
So are we working to make sure, because I've had comments made to me that ground will be restored and everything will go back?
They have to do
normal?
lawn restorations, and everything is underground, or there's a little flush box that's flush with the ground.
So
But no,
what-
they have to do lawn restoration and put that back.
So is there timeframes around that once they're in someone's yard or area?
Well, we
They give
started
us
out
that.
wonderfully, and we noticeably went downhill. So we are working to make sure that is not going to be the case. And in fact, I will sit down with them on Tuesday to talk with them about those type of issues that you gotta follow on behind, especially this time of year, because it's wonderful to do lawn restoration. You put that grass seed down and, you know, it literally just jumps out of the ground right now. But they have had some challenges, and some of it also relates to the staffing issues we've all experienced of late with the contractor and people having experience doing this type of work. But they have been responsive to us bringing issues to their attention.
Which brings up another question, Godwin, that broadband, is it underground, or how they doing that, or is it fiber optic?
They didn't talk about that much
Okay.
about that, and I don't know the various forms providers use to provide access to
Is it
send the
maybe
fiber
satellite?
into the,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
Other than,
Comes off of towers.
Our towers.
And I guess it will be in the implementation phase that they'll start discussing that, but I know that it's going to be put on high towers or high
Okay.
buildings and all that.
Makes sense,
Mhm.
okay.
Joe, you sort of answered a question that I have. You know David Curl, Trent's dad,
yeah,
on this, it's one of those circles off of, I forget which one it is, I get all those streets mixed up out there, but, we think it's Horizon. We went between some houses in very wet conditions and tore the heck out of the yards. And David asked me, I said, well, I would think that the right of way would be between those houses.
there could be a utility easement there.
There might be, but.
He just contacts us, we'll go investigate and see
Okay.
what's going on there.
Well, I'm surprised you haven't heard from Jimmy Teeters, because they tore the heck out of his yard, he's on the same street.
Oh, they've torn up a lot of, that was particularly bad.
Yeah,
Yeesh.
I haven't been out to see it, but, and I told him I would ask you, that I said, if they tore it up, they should have to fix it.
Yes, they have to fix that.
And I said, Joe's usually pretty good about getting on about it.
They have to fix that that's their challenges with their contractor. Now, the part that really is beyond their control, the utility markings have been a bit of a challenge for them. They have been particularly bad.
Did they hit a gas line and they were 6 feet away from what they thought was a line?
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Hit gas line, hit electric,
yeah,
hit cable,
yeah.
pretty much anything in the ground you could run into. But Horizon has been responsive to the problems, and some of it, they've tried to increase the number of folks building out the network, and at the moment, we're trying to go a little bit too fast, quite honestly.
You don't know if the contractor's out of Atlanta, Georgia, are they?
Off the top of my head, Jim, I can't tell you.
Chad Carey, probate judge in Clinton County, had a bed and breakfast, and one of those crews rented the place, tore it up, said the house looked like college boys had had a beer party, had trouble getting money out of them. The company in Georgia that was supposed to be paying the bill didn't even return calls to him after a while. And he was very put out by that. And I haven't talked to him recently, I don't know whether he ever got paid or not, but it was an outfit out of Atlanta. There was 4 or 5 young guys. They left cars there because they didn't have a key, or I don't know. He had to pay to have that towed away. So some of those companies are fine, and some of them don't necessarily have the best record in the world. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Godwin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next is legislation. And I'll tell the students we're going to do 2 kinds of legislation. The first are resolutions, and those aren't laws. Those are things like the first one we're going to talk about is for excavating. And so it's not a law. It's just something we need to do. Then there's ordinances, and those are more like laws. And they take 3 votes, whereas a resolution only takes 2. So we're going to do that next. And first is resolution number R32, 2022, second reading.
I'll move that we place resolution number R32, 2022 on second reading.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Roll call.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Chrisman,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Resolution number R32-2022, a resolution authorizing Joseph J. Dennett, city manager or his designee, to accept the bid and enter into agreement with Kinnison Excavating Incorporated for the purpose of water main replacement project for Lakeview Avenue.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Roll call.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Chrisman,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes. Next is resolution number R33, 2022, second reading.
I'll move we put a resolution R33, 2022 on second reading.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Chrisman,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Resolution number R33-2022, resolution accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
I'll move for adoption on that.
Second.
Roll call.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Chrisman,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes. Next, we have new legislation, and it is ordinance number 9, 2022, first reading.
I'll move that we place ordinance number 9, 2022 on a first reading.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Chrisman,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9-2022, a resolution authorizing and directing Christina Collins to create an accounting fund.
Okay, thank you. Next is miscellaneous section, and for my students, this is where council members get to make a statement if they want to make a statement or a talk. And I'm sure since you're here, they'll be very quick tonight to get, so you can get out of here. Or maybe not. Anyway, Mr. Crispin, what do you got?
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming, particularly the, our future leaders of the country back there.
That's right.
Glad to see you all. And also invite everybody to come downtown to the Scarecrow Festival this weekend. Hope they have a good time. Obviously, it looks like they're gonna have good weather, so that's about all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Hawk.
Well, I just want to say how much I appreciate the different things about our country that are so good. I had a heart attack in April and had good care. I didn't hardly suffer from it at all. And then I went whitewater rafting a couple weekends ago, and it was just fine. So, but it was beautiful. It went down on the New River below Beckley. And if anybody wants an adventure, I'd recommend that. if you get a good guide, it can be pretty good. And we did have a good guide. Our whole family, well, several of our family, about 16 of us went on it, 8 in each raft. And we rented a bed and breakfast at Flat Top, West Virginia, which I don't even think it's on the map hardly. But anyway, it was fun and really enjoyed it. And I just can't get over how we're blessed in our country with all the good things that we can go do and see and experience. That's all.
You didn't tear up the bed and breakfast, did you? Like,
No, we left it probably better than we found it.
that's good, Mr. Hawk. Okay, Mr. Blair, what do you got?
Well, it's good to have our finally got somebody from the Record Herald that takes our minutes and so forth. Appreciate Abby and look forward to working with you. For the guests, thank you for coming, and the students, there's one thing I want to caution you all about. If you let your grass grow more than 8 inches, Mr. Pitstick, would you tell them how much you will charge them?
$250.
So that's a lot of allowances, $250. So make sure your parents keep your yard mowed, okay? And also, Mr. Schultz alluded to the fact of cleaning the curbs and so forth. I saw them on Leesburg Avenue.
Yes.
Beautiful job. I commend whoever was in charge of that, Mr. Krieger, I guess.
Mhm.
It really made the city look nice, and that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Blair. Ms. Hernandez, what do you got?
I just thanking everybody for coming, and then I'm gonna go ahead and thank Kelly and Mika for all their hard work ahead of time. You'll get another thank you, I'm sure. And everyone else who participates in keeping that event. I know it doesn't seem like a lot sometimes when you're just a guest, but it is a lot of work, and it's a lot prior and then a lot after. So hopefully we'll see everyone at the Scarecrow Festival. I'll be there smiling.
Okay, Mr. Vice Chair, what do you got?
Well, I appreciate everybody showing up today. That is fantastic, all these students. Godwin, thanks for bringing us up to date. John, Rachel, I was right the first time. Thanks for coming. Abby, thanks for you taking over the new job and coming here. We appreciate all that. So I want to wish the Blue Lions, I know we got some football players back here. Blue Lions, good luck for Friday night. I think you will do fine. You've been doing great so far this season, so keep it up. Addie, you keep cheering. And then the other thing is the Scarecrow Festival. I wish everybody have a good, safe time at Scarecrow Festival. Get down and enjoy it a little bit. And one other quick little thing. The only time success comes before work is in the dictionary. So think about that. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.
I will say, Callie, if you think it's been difficult getting down Columbus Avenue, try getting through town the next 3 or 4
Yes.
days.
Yeah.
Going to school tomorrow morning, you all gonna have to find a different way to go.
And going to the football game Friday night, because we do play at home Friday night.
Yes.
So that'll be an interesting situation. But, Callie, we took care of, at least answered 2 of your complaints tonight. About Columbus Avenue and about the orange things sticking up out of the ground. So there you go. Anyway, with that, I'll have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Kelly, would you make sure that you put Mr. Schultz's information this time?
all of it, every single bit of it.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
You're welcome, sir, and yes.
Okay. Blair, Chrisman,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
and Lynch.
Yes, we are adjourned. at
Thank you all. Be
8:19.
careful.